that hot or what? Yeah. You guys are doing great. We're down to our final performer this evening. I also want to point out that Paul's an alumnus of the class. He's not in this current class. And this next comedian coming to the stage is also an alumnus of the class, and I asked him to come back and join this show tonight. And I want to invite you to stick around. We have a special little ceremony here at the end. Also, I want to encourage you all to tip your wait staff because they work hard for you tonight. Leave your something on the table, all right? Okay. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Christmassy root beer overtones with ultimate fighting tendencies are all ways I would never describe our next comic. Please welcome to the world of the ever-charming and easy on the eyes, Carla Toft.
Keep it going for all the comics and your MCs too. So I know just how his students are feeling right about now, because it was a year and a half ago that I was in the exact same situation. I was feeling really relieved, and so I know they are, and they're probably going through their set in their head and figuring out what jokes worked, and they know that no matter how it went, they're surrounded by a lot of supportive friends. Okay, maybe I wasn't in exactly the same situation. But that's not to say that I never did have friends. You should have seen me in the second grade. I had a lot of friends. So maybe it slowed down in the last couple of decades. But if you'll permit me, I'm hoping that I can consider you my friend. It's like the Dalai Lama said. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's hard meeting people. It's hard making friends. A lot of people have mentioned dating tonight. I tried Match.com. And the nice thing about Match.com is that you can cross paths with people that you'd never ordinarily meet. I was actually matched with a guy in China. And he was a really interesting guy. He worked at the presidential palace there. And we corresponded for a long time. And we were actually going to meet. But I called it off. He just raised too many red flags. I don't have any trouble filling my time, though. I really love watching TV. A couple of people have talked about TV tonight, and I'm not ashamed to say I love watching TV. And the great thing about trying to do comedy now is that before I would feel bad about just watching mindless television, but now it's research. Did anybody happen to see the Miss USA pageant last Friday? Did you? I love watching those things. That one wasn't so good, but I think it was last month the Miss America pageant was on. And anybody see that one? That was really interesting. They were trying to amp up the ratings a little bit, so they added a lot of new features. And one thing they did was they put bleachers on the stage, truly. And as each group of contestants was eliminated, they'd have them go up there and eat bonbons and just watch the rest of the show. They did. And then the other new feature they added was that they let the audience vote after they got down to the last 15 finalists. They let the audience vote to save one of them. So they added a 16th. And then the really cool thing they did was that after the talent competition, they let the audience vote to kill one of them. I voted for Miss California. I also love movies a lot. And you know what job I want? I want to work for the Motion Picture Association of America. I want to be one of those people that rates movies. I mean, that seems like a great job. And I think they might be looking for somebody. Because I saw a commercial for Horton Hears a Who, and it said, "This film is not yet rated." How hard can it be to rate Horton Hears a Who? But I can see why they might have to take a look at it, because, I mean, here's another Dr. Seuss animated movie, The Grinch. And you can't just assume that that's going to be G, because when you really think about it, you know, there's Max the dog has the horns tied to his head, and the Grinch is whipping him. You know, that could be considered suggestive content. And then there's a part where little Cindy Lou Who comes around the corner, and the Grinch is standing in the living room wearing the Santa coat, but no pants. I think it's weird when commercials or ads in the paper for movies always have the same tagline for all the movies, no matter what time of year it is, like a great date movie or the feel-good movie of the year. I saw an ad for Juno that said, "Funny, sassy, will remind you why you fell in love with movies in the first place." But does anybody come out of the movie going, "God, I gotta stick to books on tape"? And I also like following a lot of celebrity news. I read the tabloids, and I like reading the whole thing about Britney Spears. And I have to say, though, I learned a little bit about myself, because celebrities are people too, and sometimes they get in trouble. Like when Britney Spears first started doing the weird stuff, like, you know, shaving her head and not wearing panties and having children, I thought, you know, it's all for publicity. I don't care at all. But then when it turned out that she was really in serious trouble and had some mental health problems, I realized that I still didn't care. And I think it's really weird the way the tabloids combine the names of celebrity couples, like, you know, Brangelina and Bennifer and Tomcat. I think that those of you in couples probably have tried to figure out what your names would be. I actually had to break up with a guy over it. His name was Marcus, and so our names together were Carcass. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for coming out.
Housekeeping to do here, a few club announcements. First of all, Carla is part of a larger stand-up group called Stand Up and Deliver, and their brochure is available on the way out, and they do shows. Is it once a month, Carla?
Yes.
And when's the next show? All right, way to promote yourself. I give you a spot? Yeah, all right. That's why you are where you are.
Show us your dick!
That's right. I told you to wait in the car. All right. Pick up the brochure. Also, if you're at all interested in stand-up comedy, or you know somebody funny in your life and think, well, that class would be great for them, pick up one of these. The next class is in November. A little shameless plug for my class. I teach it 3 times a year. So, perfect stocking stuffer. Shameless, huh? And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to have the students come on stage for the presentation of their diplomas. Please, students.